Welcome back, Dungeoneers. It's Sunday afternoon, and that can only mean one thing. It's time to play Dungeons & Dragons. You're watching Dice and Dungeons, and I'm here at the table with...
I am David Wong. I play 9C Tabaxi Bard.
I'm Nicole Bates. I play Soria, the Changeling Druid.
I'm Greg, and I'm playing Ulseth Ralph, the Furbolg Fighter.
And I'm Alexis Bates, your trusty dungeon mistress. So we've got a couple of announcements this week, starting off the top with something coming from our channel. Take it away, Soria.
Not a whole lot of news yet, but coming up in the next week or two, we're going to be dropping some information for a Patreon, so you can support us through there directly once we have it up and running, and we'll provide more information soon.
Yeah, and we're also rolling out some new content that we are in the middle of recording. They will be shorter form YouTube videos to help beginners learn to play Dungeons & Dragons, and will, over time, help walk people through the basics of the game, and then more advanced rules. So keep an eye out for those. We'll give you more details as we get ready to launch them. Yeah.
That's right, and as you learn the rules, you can then, in text...
Break them.
Call us out every time we break the rules.
Yeah, you
It
can
boosts
give,
engagement.
the more that I talk about the rules on YouTube and make videos about it, the more you can get mad at me when I break the rules during the game. And then I'll just go, it's a game of the imagination, come on. And we can get into Twitter fights, it'll be a lot of fun. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. Our next announcement is our usual sponsor, Geekified. Geekified is a tabletop gaming store out of Vinton, Iowa that meets all of your tabletop role-playing game needs, taking online and in-store orders. So you can pick up anything you need for tabletop gaming through their website, geekified.us. And if you use this link, geekified.us/discount/dice and dungeons, which will be posted in our YouTube description as well as Twitch chat as we go through the show, you will get 5% off of your first order through that link, and buying things through there does help support the show. So if you're looking to pick up, when is the crossover D&D and Magic set coming out?
Oh, quite soon.
Yeah.
They're releasing spoilers now.
Yeah, I want to say that that's like mid-July. I forget the date. It's coming out pretty soon. So if you want to pick up packs, you can order that through Geekified, and they will be shipped to your house. Thank you to Geekified and to anyone who buys through that link and helps us out. We really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone.
End of the month, the 23rd.
23rd is when that set comes out. What's the name of it?
Forgotten Realms.
Forgotten Realms.
Set in, obviously.
In Forgotten Realms.
Forgotten Realms.
Yeah. It's sort of self-explanatory there.
That's going to be hard to remember.
I don't even know what we're talking about.
They have some pretty great cards. There's like a card that's just 50 feet of rope, which is his favorite
All
card.
right.
Maybe
And you're gonna
we'll
lose
pick
it.
up
I'm going to
All the time.
make like a
box
deck,
and
which is
do like a
two-thirds,
draft
50
match
foot
on
Yeah, that
Steam or
might be
something.
fun.
A deck of mini rope.
And we can try to, I don't know what the 50-foot rope card does. I have no idea, but maybe we can build a deck around it, and we'll just call it the Ulseth
Based
Special.
on what, it's like a common artifact. I don't think you can.
Okay, you say that, but this is Magic the Gathering we're
That's
talking
fair.
about. You can build a deck out of literally anything.
Yeah,
Someone made a computer in Magic the Gathering.
a functioning computer. Yeah.
So I think we can build a deck around the 50-foot rope card.
Probably. It just won't be good.
Most decks aren't good.
No.
There's like, in every set, there's like 3 decks in the meta that are any good, and then everything else is garbage. And that's it.
Anyway.
So pick up those cards when they come out at the end of July. And thank again to Geekified and all of our watchers who buy stuff through that link. We appreciate it. I think that's the end of the announcements this week. So, Dungeoneers, let's roll. Welcome back, everybody. So last time on Dice and Dungeons, the party spent some time resting and getting to know the city of Nordfeld just a little better, as they waited for the Arcane Masters of Elsiren to arrive, hoping to get some more information on the mysterious murder cult, as they've dubbed it, they discovered in the sewers beneath the city. Soria started some experiments with plants being exposed to fervent energy. They all learned a bit about world geography, politics, which I gotta say is a rare treat for any DM who engages in world building and like writes their own stuff. We never get to do that, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Nines spent some time taking lessons on the zither from Anna Hockbloom, and we saw the possible blossoming of a new relationship. Although Nines does seem a bit oblivious. And, of course, they spent a full day out on Lake Sturmgrim hunting Sturmgrimmy, the supposed lake monster of the Lake Sturmgrim. They thought they caught a glimpse of something in the water.
I know I caught a glimpse of a sea monster.
Of course.
I
like
got
a sea
thrown out of a
monster
boat
in
by a
the
sea monster.
freshwater lake.
I almost caught a sea monster.
I've never been to the sea.
So that is where we ended the session after returning from Lake Sturmgrim and your Sturmgrimmy hunting. Now I know there were still.
We ended after a performance.
Oh, that is right.
Yeah.
I had forgotten. Yes, you.
How could you forget?
I am sorry.
It
You
was an
managed to
unforgettable performance until you
Forget-
just proved me wrong.
You managed to get your way onto the stage at the Blackwell Bar and put on a performance.
Maggie got him onto the stage.
We also swapped recipes with Muriel.
And you did a bit of throat singing.
And Bullywug throat singing.
Yeah. Which someone needs to make a clip of. I don't know if someone's made a clip of it yet. So there were still a few things that we didn't get to that I know you wanted to do over your week. And if you want to just pick up right there, the next day you had expressed interest in going to the Fervent Guard outpost and catching up, well, not really catching up, introducing yourselves to the Fervent Guard, bringing them the maintenance tools, a set of maintenance tools that you'd found, and getting to know a bit more about what they do, since you are spending quite a bit of time hunting down Fervent artifacts, it seems. So if you would like, we can just pick up the next morning, and you can make way out there if you'd like to.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
I won't even
Execute.
Wake up and check to see if I have any money.
I won't even shake down Zoloth this morning.
Ooh, that is a 2.
I have 2 coins left.
No one stole your money
we
this
have
time.
more money.
Someone brought it back.
Reverse robbery.
Someone robbed you so badly
Kormov
they
had a
left
change of heart.
their change with you. No, you were not robbed in the middle of this night.
Well, let's go.
Oh, this night. Okay.
That's a nice change.
And,
Can we go to the Fervent Guard, please?
Yeah, should we take what was the horse's name? Wilfred?
A horse? Winfield?
Winfield.
Oh, sure. Let's take Winfield.
He'd probably like.
Has a chance to get out of the stables.
Wait, is he our horse?
no. He was.
Whose horse?
He was Koromon, or he was one of the mercenaries.
He was just hanging out with the mercenaries at the camp, presumably one of their horses.
and we took it.
Did we just steal a horse?
Yeah.
No, we liberated
It
the
was
horse.
from criminals.
The horse hates
mean-
bandits. They were bandits. Well, not really. They
The
were.
bandits more left the horse here.
We saved an abandoned horse.
From starving
So-
to death.
Wait, if he's sleeping next to us, does that make him our neighbor?
Let's go to the Fervent Guard.
Yes.
Make it so.
please. Are you taking Winfield?
Yes.
All right.
I will ride Winfield.
Very good. The next morning you set out and situate a saddle over Winfield and make your way north out of town. You know from talking with Toddy and a couple other people in the time that you've been in Nordfeld that the Fervengard outpost is about a half day's travel. If you're not trying to move too swiftly, nor too slowly, just at a nice, traveling pace, it'll take you 5 hours or so to get out there.
Time passes. We're there.
So, what do we want? Oh, sorry, I'm on Winfield. So, what do we want to ask the Fervengard about when we actually get there? Do we actually have a plan for this, or are we just doing a thing?
A plan.
Yeah.
I wish to ask the Fervent Guard what it is they are guarding.
Fervent.
I think Toddy said that they did like maintenance on all of the cities, like Fervent Tech.
Why don't we find out from them?
Well, that's the thing we can ask them.
Okay. Let us also ask them if they are willing to pay us for this repair kit.
Oh, I thought
it was gift.
Are we extorting them now?
No, we are just asking if they are interested in buying it. And if not, we'll just leave it there. I don't want to carry it back.
Didn't you say at one time you wanted to learn how to use it?
I do not recall that, but that would be a useful thing. But then, if I were to learn how to use it, but we left it with them, I would not have it to use, even if I had learned how.
That sounds like you'll have to carry it back.
Well, Seth has found himself very money motivated lately.
Ever since it was stolen.
It is the sense of injustice that bothers me so much.
Well, it's the lack of money that bothers me.
I just spent it on magic stuff.
Then we have a good plan.
Yes, ask them questions and get answers.
Yes. Very
I
good,
guess.
Nines. You put that succinctly.
Execute. We're just talking outside their door.
We had 5 hours
Just
to do
imagine it
this.
happening.
we rode in dead silence for 5 hours.
Then you get there, and in fairness, that kind of tracks with your guys' MO. So
So is there like a door to knock on, or a palisade that we need to enter through, or
Well,
is
I'm
it just
sure-
like a bunch of people standing
I'm sure
around?
if we give her the opportunity, the team would be happy to describe the scene that we see before us.
What is it? You think so?
Maybe we should
Let's find out.
turn and look at her and see if something happens.
oh, this is good. Please go on. I like this. This is DMing by proxy.
Is
It's
it
awesome.
a giant cog?
9 swims across the moat to.
Roll for crocodiles.
There's 18 of them.
This is great. I don't even have to do a job anymore.
Are we there yet?
You tell me. Go right ahead.
We have been traveling for half a day. I do believe we are nearly arriving. I wonder what it is that we see in the near distance.
I make a perception check.
I do too.
22.
You see a sign that says Fervent Guard Outpost just over the hill.
I got a
I look
22.
over the hill
I got a 22 as well.
You see the same sign.
on the other side of the hill.
Okay, do you want to be there now?
Yeah.
I would
Dang
like
it.
to be there. We're off to a good start today.
Good lord, an inch of freedom. As you approach the outpost, the road you've been traveling on is clearly not one that's well worn. It's been sort of a rough travel, and although the distance is not great, the road is tougher to traverse. Even bringing just a small two-wheeled cart down this, pulled by horses or donkeys, would be even challenging. You can see that the rain that is constantly battering this area has washed out a great deal of mud and earth, and the road remains rough beneath your feet and hooves, in the case of Winfield. And when you arrive at this camp, this outpost, it's little more than a small clearing of trees. Some stumps still sit on the ground, and there is a smattering of, semi-permanent tents that have been erected, as well as one more well-constructed, basically cabin. And they're just kind of arranged in a semicircle around a large central fire that seems to have become kind of a permanent fixture within this little camp. And the trees are thick around this.
I'm gonna be honest, I was expecting like a castle or something.
Yes, if these people are guarding Fervent Tech, and Fervent Tech is so powerful, they do not seem to be taking advantage of it.
Maybe they're new.
Oh, that would be good because then they'll be, they won't know what not to tell us.
Do we see anyone we can talk to?
There are, you just by quick count, estimate somewhere between, 15 and 25 people that are all moving about the camp. The more that you observe their movements, Soria, you're probably the only one that's kind of familiar with this behavior, as you've engaged in a little bit of it. And your village has, from time to time, been contacted by travelers coming through looking for abandoned ruins. They're excavating these ruins that are out here.
Oh, okay.
And you can see bits of this dark crimson granite block that you've seen before.
Yes, is this similar to those bandit excavations that we saw that Cormoth was leading previously?
Yes, the buildings here are not quite so buried as the ones you had observed north of Whitfeld, but these buildings are the outlines of surface structures. The longer you look around, the more attention you pay to your surroundings. You see that there's some low walls that remain, some crumbling structures. The excavation isn't very deep, but it does seem to be thorough, and although Nines and Ulseth have not necessarily seen this behavior before, the purpose of what they're doing becomes clear enough to both of you. They're looking for artifacts in these buildings. No one really seems to pay you much mind, although people look over and see that you're there. No one seems to stop and greet you. No one really seems to take note of your presence much more than acknowledging it.
Do we want to just ask where to go, or do we want to just go up to that building?
Let's just go up to the building.
Act like we know what we're doing.
Act like, yes, we have a plan.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
We go up to the building. It has a door on it. Zoria recognizes it as a door, probably.
It does have a door, although the door is open.
Oh.
There's a sort of roofed porch out in front of this cabin structure that runs the length of its front.
I go up to the door, and even though it's open, I knock on it.
Okay. Yeah, come on in! Come on in! What do you need?
Hello.
As you enter the building, there's kind of on the small side for a dwarf, and sort of ready looking. Yeah, sitting behind a table, just buried with paperwork.
We are looking for the Fervent Guard. Have we found them?
Aye.
Are you a member of the Guard?
Aye. What do you need?
Well,
What's your name?
My name? Oh, my name's Robert.
Robert?
With an A?
No, Robert. Oh, A and Robert.
You'd be surprised. I was.
I think we all were.
I would be surprised to meet a Robert or an A. It's gonna help you with.
Well, we have some questions.
Go ahead.
One is, you are called the Fervent Guard. What is it that you are guarding?
The legacy of Fervin. Where have you been?
The woods.
Oh, well.
On a lake as well.
It's all Stormgrimmy.
Storm what?
The Stormgrimmy. The monster of the lake in Stormgrim. Lake Stormgrim. Whatever it was. That one.
We almost caught it.
Is a lake monster in Stormgrim?
Ah, yes.
Probably swelled to enormous size because of like fervent energy or something.
Takes a little note.
So
gonna
you are not
drain that
actually
lake now.
guarding Fervent Tech. You are guarding the legacy of Fervent.
I mean, it's a bit both. We guard the legacy of Fervin. We also guard the technology and try to maintain it.
So you maintain it, but we have found technology belonging to people like Tibok and others. Do you maintain it for them as well?
Well, occasionally, private owners will request and compensate us for services maintaining their equipment, but not always. There are private individuals and industries that help maintain things. Sometimes the owners themselves do their best, but we are, the governmental supporters. So all those lights that you see in cities coming on at night, the remaining power generators, we're charged with maintaining them.
How long does it take to learn how to fix them?
Well, as far as we're concerned, we barely know how to fix them as it is. If Evan wasn't much of a note taker, you see. Don't know how they
Why?
I would recommend to anybody
Does not take note.
that they start taking notes. Otherwise, you have no idea what you've been doing after you're gone. No one can figure things out.
Still don't know what I've been doing.
Well, at least
You
people
just found
can
out
try
about
to figure
doors.
it out afterwards. You just found out about doors?
No.
That thing over there?
No. I'm from the Fervent Wilds and they make fun of me for it, despite one of them being from the Fervent Wilds.
I am from the Fervent Wilds. I did not make fun of you.
You just talked about how I recognized the door.
You did recognize the door. I bet Nines recognized the door. Did you recognize the door?
I use doors all the time. I get kicked out of them, thrown out of them.
So you know doors in passing.
I have a
Yes, I
question.
scratch at them.
Aye.
Are you familiar at all with a man known as Koromon?
Cure.
He was originally Korin Holzschnitzer.
Name doesn't ring a bell to me, should it?
He was the one who's been stealing the Fervent technology from private owners all over town lately.
Oh, we did hear about that.
Yeah.
But we didn't.
He didn't train with the Fervent Guard or anything. He seems to know quite a bit about it.
Not that I'm aware of, but well, we're not the only place to learn about fervent technology.
Where else can you learn about it?
The great libraries of Drugmara. Plenty of information. We're not secret keepers here in the Fervent Guard, but we learn we share and share alike. Because our mission is to restore and, if possible, resurrect the technologies that are used here.
Do you work along with Todriana? She seems to have acquired very much tech.
Well, every once in a while we work with Adriana. It's not every day, but she and other private collectors and curators like herself, that they make their wares and discoveries available to us more often than not. No, we don't insist on it, force them to do so.
Well, what exactly happened to Fervin?
Well, see, now that's a bit of a mystery. When he presumably died, it was north of here still. See, one of Fervin's favourite places was Nordfeld. He always felt a particular calling to this city, and, well, please take no offence, but the climate here is... leaves something to be desired. The constant rain and overcast nature of where we are can be a bit gloomy. Never much understood why he liked it so much. But as it happened, at the peak of his influence and prowess, he set up a large research facility. About a week's travel north of here. I would say 100 or so miles north still. Right along the coast of the ocean. It was the most northern outpost that the Empire had. And one day, there was a large explosion. Isn't quite giving it justice. An explosion implies that there was force. This was more of a vaporization, disintegration, general disappearance. The whole facility gone like that. A flash of light. It could apparently be seen for quite a few miles. People as far away as, just outside of Drogmara. Even Krebstadt reported seeing some sort of energy beam or flash, some light, some sort of effect. And there were no tremors. There's no shockwave. Nothing of that sort that you would expect from something that has apparently so much energy.
Were there parts of the building and things like scattered about? Or did it just simply disappear?
Hey, see, that's the trick. When a scouting party was sent out from Drogmara, heavily armed, the Emperor's personal guards, they arrived on the scene and found a crater. Hundreds of feet deep. And even more hundreds of feet wide. But at the crater's edge, the grass was still growing, undisturbed. Not a branch was broken. But many along those edges were cleanly cut. And no branches that were cut showed any signs of it dropping to the ground. The ocean had started to spill in and had filled most of the crater by the time the search party got there. So now all that remains is a hole in the ground filled with salt water. Nothing is left. No signs of him or anything in that facility were ever found.
And how long ago was this?
Oh, at this point, I feel like it must be about 300 years. I'm not always the best with dates. I'm an official dispatch from the Royal Military, the Army. I'm here to help facilitate the paperwork. I was assigned to them. because, well, you know how the research types are. They're not always good about keeping track of how much they spent and where they spent it and what resources they need. They forget to send in requests. Ugh.
Sometimes they write brain melting ruins on things.
Hey, you wouldn't believe the stuff that we'd get down at the central office. I sent up here to help Artifice of Great Axe figure out their paperwork.
Who did you say?
Artifice of Great Axe.
Artifice. Is that who's in charge here? Of
Hey!
this dig?
Great Axe is the Dragon King in charge. He took a special interest in Fervin and requested this particular place as his base of operations, as he likes to put it. Don't know why. It's pretty high up in their order.
How rare would you say things that, like, belong to Fervin are?
I mean,
Like Fervin technology that was directly handled and worked on by Fervin.
they shot from time to time, but most of them were lost in that explosion. Or whatever you'd like to call it. I'd say they're maybe not the rarest things in the world, but it's a pretty rare sight to see something from him. Why?
Oh, I was just curious.
That was his personal lab, so most of the things that he possessed in his life are gone. A few things remain, of course. Most of them stored with the royal family.
Is Fervin tech always run on those sort of blue crystals?
Typically, yeah. I mean, they vary in size and shape. Some of them have a bit more of a greenish hue than others, but most everything in Fervent Tech relies on the power of the Fervent crystals. And when the crystals run out of power, you haven't figured out a way to replace, recharge, or, well, get new ones.
Oh, they run out.
They do. They have a lifespan. Some devices never seem to find that span. The lights that you've seen in a few cities, I'm sure, they don't seem to run out. We've never had to replace any parts of them, except for the occasional little steam valves. Mechanical bits, they tend to wear out. But all the other components, especially the crystal, never seem to go. There's been a few unfortunate, well-to-do families that had Fervent Tech supporting their business operations, and, well, they eventually lost those engines, and the crystals went dark.
How long would you say it would take for, like, a drive engine to...
Yeah, I haven't seen too many drive engines go out. The ones I have were generally supporting more machinery than they were meant to do so. Not every business venture that has access to one of those treats them with the respect that they need.
So there's, like, sort of a correlation between lifespan and the amount of work it's doing.
It seems to be that way, yeah. I'm not an expert, but anecdotally, that's what I've picked up in my time working with the guard.
Do you know why they chose this site?
Well, Greatex did his own research. He's a little bit of a, well, stubborn, thick-headed, some say. And there's reason to believe that the Fervin ruins that are here were an early experimentation lab for Fervin himself. I wouldn't know whether that's true or not. I don't know what they base it on. However, the ruins here are no doubt old Fervin power generation facilities. Took quite a beating with all the rain. I suppose that using that particular granite in this much weather, it doesn't hold up too well over time. So, what brings you all up here anyway?
Well, we had been tracking and recovering fervent tech on behalf of people who had hired us, and we had spoken with Todriana, and everyone had told us about the fervent guard. We were just curious. But also, among the things that we have found is this, what Todriana calls a repair kit or a maintenance box.
Oh, you found one of the old maintenance kits, did you?
Well, yes. Would you care to look at it to see if it is complete? And also, I have a question. If I were to want to learn how to repair fervent tech, or at least to use the tools that are in this kit, is there someone here who could teach me?
I mean, I'm sure someone around here could show you the basics of it. Repairing fervent tech is not a simple matter, from what I understand. As I explained, I'm mostly here to do clerical work. My expertise is in administration, not excavation and maintenance of fervent tech. But there are people around here who do that, and I'm sure some of them could teach you a wee bit about it.
Yes? Who is it that I should seek out?
Well, I'm sure Artificer Greytex could teach you a bit.
Ah,
I'm also thinking, well, you might be able to convince, if you bring a good pint of mead, you might be able to convince my friend Gloria.
Gloria.
Aye. She's always had
Really shouldn't have those 4 glasses of meats on the way here then.
she's always had a fascination for this stuff, and she seems to be one of the more skilled ones around the camp. At least that's the way she talks about herself. So you might look her up. She's the one female dwarf with blonde hair.
Ah, then she should stand out.
I would say so, generally speaking.
Okay. I will look for Gloria. Nines? I am wondering if you would do a great favor and allow me to have 1 pint of your day's availability of mighty fine mead.
Oh, look who needs 9s in his magical keg with infinite mead now. Oh, look who made fun of him when he was buying it. Yeah, sure.
Thank you very much.
Anything else I can help with you all? Do you want me to try to steer you towards Greytex?
Well, actually, I have a question. What do you think was that thing that happened to Fervin?
Well, if you ask me,
I did.
you have.
I literally just did.
I reckon that it was something, most like a perfect unleashing of fervent energy. A chain reaction. Don't know how that was caused, but he was experimenting, at least the rumors have it, he was experimenting with new and far more powerful technology than we'd ever used before. And if anything went wrong, that could have spelled the end of him. But can't say for sure. I say, don't tempt fate.
What if what happened is not something that went wrong, but something that went right?
You mean he did it on purpose? Is that what you mean to say?
Like he teleported his whole facility into like,
Another place or time, or
wow.
yes. Since nothing was left, no debris, it did not seem like an explosion. What if it happened just as he had planned?
Well, I don't know why he'd want to leave. He had about the best gig anyone could ever have. The Emperor gave Fervin
Even better than nines?
nearly unlimited sums of money.
He played at the Blackwell Bar.
A commendable achievement, to be sure.
And Fervin's gig was even better.
Did Fervin... Was Fervin a magic user at all, or did he just do this technology?
Did he use magic? Not that I've ever heard of. No. I mean, he could have. I'm of the mind that says... unless someone specifically says it didn't happen, there's always a chance.
Like Stormgrimmy.
Sure. Never heard of Stormgrimmy before today, but... used to say that there isn't a giant lake monster looking beneath the waves of Lake Stormgrim.
Well, if you ever have the occasion to go onto Lake Sturmgrim, take a very, very stout fishing pole and bait it with a very, very large fish, and you may be lucky enough to catch Sturmgrimmy.
I'll have to give that a try on my next day off. I always enjoy a good tussle with an all too large fish.
All right, well, why don't we
Shall
go...
we find Greytax or Gloria?
Why don't we talk to Gloria first? And Greytax next, because
Okay.
I feel like
Especially
Greytax...
since we poured mead already.
And I already poured mead, and it's gonna go flat.
Oh, it doesn't go flat.
I don't know anything about mead.
Fizzy mead.
This isn't sparkling mead.
Sparkling.
I can't tell if sparkling mead sounds great or
No.
gross.
Yes.
I mean,
No.
no, I think gross. I think gross.
No. I go out and I look around for a blonde dwarf.
Doesn't take you too long, and you're just kind of like wandering around
Holding a
different...
cup of mead.
Attracting a lot of attention from the dwarves.
You know, you're not seeing anyone really paying that much attention to you.
Even with the mead.
It seems to be that their heads are just sort of buried in their work. You've come across a whole bunch of passionate, nearly obsessive researchers, archaeologists with their particular field. And you walking around with a fine cup of mead is not quite the distraction that it might be in other places.
So do I find Gloria?
You do. It takes you a few minutes and you eventually find her. She's working on one of the westernmost excavation pits. It's all marked out with grid lines, and she's in the middle of brushing off an artifact.
I go up to her and say, "Are you who are Gloria?"
That sentence
Yeah, that's
structure
me.
also.
He brought you alcohol.
But I've never said no to alcohol, so I'll take that.
I hand Gloria the mead.
She kind of sniffs the aroma. Not the best, but cheers and thanks. And
You're welcome.
she starts to take a drink. Wait, why have you brought me alcohol?
Robert said,
Not with A.
not with an A,
Robert.
said that you might...
Robert.
Oh, why didn't you say so?
He has an accent.
Oh, fair enough.
said that you may appreciate that mead and in return may assist me in learning how to use the tools in this fervent maintenance kit.
So you want to learn how to use what's inside that kit? And you're bribing me with alcohol, is that it?
Ah, yes.
Well, that'll
Yes,
do
it
it.
works very well.
You got yourself a deal.
All right.
She knocks the cup all the way up in the air, drinks every last drop, and then shakes her head about. Not the best tasting stuff, but not bad either. Whose cup is this?
That
My
is
cup.
There
That
you
is
go.
Nine's cup. That
Hands
is
you
a
cup.
+1 cup.
What does that mean?
It's his
It means you're
band.
not to me.
Your band names is +1?
It's 9.
No, it's 9s. +1. And these are my 2 compatriots. Used to be 3.
We don't play instruments.
Sure. I mean, it's your band. Name it whatever you like. So,
Yes, I
Time
can
for
do
a-
that, because I'm only member.
she cracks her knuckles. Time for a crash course on fervent tech maintenance. Right, have a seat. She gestures to a stump nearby.
Lovely furniture you have here.
You know, it'll do. In a pinch at least. And she pulls up kind of rolls up an unused barrel, and she sits down on it. All right. Now, she begins explaining what all the different tools in the inside of the kit do, and how they all can maintain fervent tech. There's an organizational system to the kit, where each tool in each spot has little groupings for different types of fervent pieces. And she tells you that these kits weren't initially developed by Fervin. They were actually developed by the Fervin Guard after his death. Because the way Fervin had done it had been to issue just the tools that you needed with, an item.
Like IKEA.
A little bit. And because of that, when the Fervent Guard came around and was charged with the maintenance of fervent technology throughout at the time that they were created, the kingdom of Glindring, rather than the Cormarian Empire, which had recently been dissolved. The Fervent Guard needed something that was more universal. And so they created these kits. And they're still produced today, although the older ones are kind of collector's items. Think of...
Is this an older one?
Yes, it is. Oh. It is an older one.
This one was owned by one of the families that died out during the fever.
I know, I just didn't know if it was really old and collectible or not.
Well, it is.
Oh.
Think of these in our world a little bit like old motorcycle or car kits. A lot of car manufacturers used to sort of include maintenance kits with their cars, and they were usually in stylized little boxes, cases, or pouches, and they're kind of collector's items. The earlier Fervent Guard pieces are a little bit in that same vein. They are functional, but also have a collector's value to them. And although after about 30 minutes or so of her explaining what all these tools do and to which devices they are grouped to repair and service, you feel a little overwhelmed from just the sheer volume of information that you have absorbed.
I would like to just have been writing this all down as she was talking through it.
I'm keeping notes.
You take the best notes that you possibly can.
I am wondering if there is anything in writing that may assist me in learning yet more. A manual, instructions.
She's just kind of patting it all. As she's patting herself down, you notice that there are about there's at least one pocket for every square half foot of clothing. There's pockets everywhere on her.
So the opposite of most ladies' clothing.
Yes, the opposite of most women's clothing.
She's just in a giant
She's almost
pair
nothing
of
but pockets.
giant cargo pants, sort of. A full body cargo pants.
Cargo dress.
Yeah. Cargo dress. There you go. All right. Oh, there it is. And she pulls out a little kind of trifold pamphlet that says, "Is it your first maintenance kit?"
Well, there you go.
Does it have little line drawings of a little boy and a girl with an adult hovering over them pointing at things?
Oh, it says here that your maintenance kit is called a Bjorken.
It doesn't have the little drawings in it, but it does have some very precise illustrations of the kit and the components that are in there, and it illustrates what you were just told by Gloria about everything.
Is there a charge then for this trifold pamphlet?
No,
Don't say
just
more
keep
mead.
it.
Don't say more mead.
It's fine. I'm always happy to teach people how to use this and take care of the technology. It's important to do.
And if I were
Well, we
to...
didn't even need to give her the mead then.
Oh, it is much appreciated. Puts
If I
me in a
wish-
better mood to teach.
If I wish to become more proficient at repairing fervent technology, are there places where I could buy or borrow more advanced texts?
Well, you might be able to study some of the texts in Drugmara proper, where we have a headquarters.
Who do I talk to at your headquarters?
Anyone in the library, it's open to the public. We don't hide or try to keep our knowledge secret.
Yeah, but librarians usually hate me. I don't know why.
I can't understand why they'd hate you.
He has a loose grasp on borrowing books.
That would explain it then.
Did you check this book out?
Well, thank you very much for the trifold pamphlet of Introduction to Fervent Technology.
You'll at least know what all the tools are.
Yes, this has been most helpful, and I do plan to continue my studies in the future.
Well,
Do I now have a new proficiency or anything?
It's gonna take longer than
to become proficient with these, you're really going to have to study and use
it's like me with lockpicks.
just like most things in life. You can pick it up and read a manual about how it works. Using it well and effectively and to accomplish more and more complex tasks takes time and experience.
Perhaps Todriana will let me borrow some of her tech on which I can practice.
Yeah, that would be good. I mean, we could have just pocketed some when we at the mansion.
Yeah, we could just out of the scrap.
Yeah. I have a random super casual question. It's
Great ahead.
a drive engine. What if one was for some reason not powered by a regular blue crystal, but was instead powered by something weird, like, I don't know, like a black cube or something? Random geometric shape there.
Don't even know how that works.
No?
Never seen anything powered by anything other than your typical fervent crystals.
And what if it was like a drive engine, I don't know, owned originally by Fervent or something weird like that?
I don't think that would make much of a difference to the parts inside, but I mean, the Fervent did a lot of strange things over the years, and well, you know how his life ended, of course. He was clearly quite a risk taker, very comfortable pushing the bounds.
So you're saying if there was like a non-crystal power source, it could be super duper dangerous and probably shouldn't just be carried around?
It might be. It also might be inert.
That would be good. Theoretically.
I mean, I've never seen anything like that. I can't tell you what something like that would mean. Where'd you get this idea anyway?
Oh, just, learning about Fervent Tech and just thinking about it.
Well, I don't know if...
I feel like you should roll deception for that.
I don't know if you're ever going to encounter anything like that. But if you do, I'd just say be careful.
Who would be the most interested in something like that?
Theoretically, anyone who cares about fervent tech would want to see something like that.
Okay. That was my super casual.
What do you think happened to Fervin?
Well, if you ask me,
I did! Why does everyone keep saying that?
I think he pushed it too far. I think he tried some new experiment and it unleashed a cascade of energy. We don't know exactly where all the energy from these crystals comes from, but it does seem to be drawn from an interesting alignment of the material. Something about the way that the material itself is made. And if you ever tried to untangle it, it could unleash all of its power, because it's like stored in these crystals. So I think, and he found a way, but he didn't know he'd found a way. I think he was working on something else, and it caused that to happen.
I haven't heard. Does anyone think he might have been sabotaged?
Oh, sure.
Oh, okay.
People have proposed that. It's all over the place since his death. You know, there's always people who think that someone is grand and is intelligent and wise as fervent is about something. They idolize individuals. The standout people in our societies, the people that are of note, they get idolized. And they like to think that they can't do anything wrong. But they can, and they do. And he may have just made a mistake. It's possible that someone could have sabotaged him, but I'm not sure what there was to gain from it.
You ever heard of anyone named Cormont?
I haven't. Why?
Oh, he's just a bad guy who's been stealing fervent tech. That's all.
And money!
And money. Basically, all around not great.
I'd heard some hubbub down in the town about that. Is that who it was?
Yeah, he skipped town. I was just curious if, like, he learned about all this fervent tech through the Fervent Guard, but...
I mean, he could have, but... members of the Fervent Guard aren't meant to stay forever. Some of us really love it and spend most of our lives here. Others come, serve some time and go. And, as I'm sure you've been told, we don't make any of our knowledge secret. Alright. Anyone can study it. We're not some sort of closed reliquary of knowledge.
Do you have any secrets?
Like you personally?
I suppose, yes, I do have some secrets.
Can I know one? I'll give you some mead.
Well, sure, why not? She grabs the meat out of your hand. I tell people that I'm 176, but I'm actually 184.
Wow. You don't look a day over 150.
Well, that's very kind of you.
I
I
assume.
think that's true, but I'll take the compliments where I can get them. Most of the lugheads around here have their heads too buried up their own research journals, so to take any notice of me, so I'll take whatever flattery I can.
What's Greytax like? Is he worth talking to?
Depends on what you want to know.
Is he nice? Is he like grumpy?
Oh, he's grumpier than I am, but I wouldn't say that he's strictly grumpy. He's a
Does he also
pleasant
like
enough-
mead?
Not that I'm aware of. Oddly enough, I don't see any of the dragon or dragonkins are really consuming a whole lot of alcohol from the meals that we've shared together.
Does he play Testaxes?
I don't know. Isn't that the children's game?
It's for all ages.
Oh, well. Who am I to judge?
feel pretty judged right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to judge you.
Well, thank you very much
Yes,
for the
thank you.
information and for the trifold pamphlet.
She quickly drains the mug of mead. You're welcome. If you have any more mead, come back anytime.
Nines, do you wish to have your +1 mug back?
Yes, I want my mug back. I paid good money for that. It
Oh, of course, here. Sorry.
was like
Thank you.
half a ziffer.
I think it was. Didn't you get the mugs just free with it, but you paid to have them engraved? Okay.
Magically engraved. It was worth it. So you can all be +1.
I will look around for a dragonkin. Just looking for great tax.
You wander
I
around the
also
camp
want to
for a
look for
little
someone
while.
who's not doing a good job at their job.
You want to look for someone who's not doing a good job.
Yeah. Do I see someone like that?
Why don't you make a...
A looking around check.
It's called perception.
Why don't you make a perception check? Sure, just, screw it. Why not?
I got a dirty 20.
You see a couple people that are kind of standing around one of the excavation pits. Doesn't seem like they're doing a whole lot of work. They're just leaning against a tree, chatting.
Don't they know if there's time to lean, there's time to clean?
I want to throw something at you so much right now.
Yes, that's why I record in a different room.
You record in an entirely different address.
Well, you better
done.
learn how to throw very hard.
I'm gonna work on that.
Can do some animation.
No, they're just being lazy. They're not being bad at their job, so I don't say anything.
They're not being bad at their jobs.
Or they're
just
taking,
lazy.
or they're
Oh,
just taking a break.
Yeah.
all right. Well, you look around for a little while, and eventually you come across the only dragonkin you've been able to find to this point. He is fairly tall, about 8 foot tall, and is overseeing a particularly,
It is easy for him to oversee if he is that tall.
it is, a particularly large excavation grid. And just he's kind of quietly talking to what looks to be maybe his assistant or one of the excavators as they're asking a couple questions about how to proceed here.
Hello? Are you Artificer Greytex?
I am indeed Artificer Greytex.
Is this another red dragonkin? Okay. We're here getting some information, and I was hoping we could speak with you. We're
Speak away.
members of the Company of Blades, and we were recently wrapping up the case of the stolen fervent tech in town.
Very well. Thank you for your assistance in that matter.
Well, I have something to ask you, but could we maybe speak in like one of the tents or something? It's sort of a matter of secrecy.
Of course, I can always take time to help out a Nordfeldian citizen. And
Yes, that's what I am, as Maggie.
he just
Everyone's so accommodating here.
they're public employees. They're employed by the government. They try to be
Yeah, that makes people nice.
they try to be nice.
Yeah.
He just sort of gives a I'll be right back
As we
to the crew that's excavating this, and He walks over to the largest of the tents.
As we go, I'll just be like, so what do you think happened to Fervin?
That's my thing.
What are you talking about?
Like, when Fervin disappeared, what do you think happened?
Do you always start conversations this way?
Usually we end it that way.
Usually, Nines
We
is the
usually
one
are
who
able to
starts
get both done at once.
Nines is excellent at that.
I think that he was engaging with more dangerous pieces than he understood. Fervin liked to move fast and break things. He enjoyed seeing how they work. And it led to a fair number of messes over the years.
Ooh, like what? Dish.
There are a large number of facilities that are in disrepair. He failed to take notes about his work. We know very little about how he constructed the things that he has. But what we do know shows his obvious genius. So, I think he just moved a little too quickly and didn't clearly think everything through. That's what I think happened.
Well, once we're inside the tent, I
Okay.
assume it didn't take that long to get in.
No.
All right. So on our mission, one of the things that was stolen included an orb that we had authenticated to have belonged to Fervin.
As in a drive orb.
It looked like one. But it bore his sigil.
He's on a stool and he's kind of leaning back, thinking. Where did you find this sphere?
It was among a bunch of other stolen drive engines and things that a man named Coramonth was collecting for some client in either the Republic or Costeria. I'm not sure if they were aware of what it was, because we found it in a storage warehouse that just had his lackeys overseeing it before it got to him.
And this wasn't a crystal. It was... Describe it again.
Well, I hadn't talked about the crystal, but to you. But it was, and I'll pull out a small box. I don't have the orb with me, but I do have what was in place of its crystal here. And I'll open it up. It seemed to still function and give off fervent energy.
It gave off fervent energy.
It seems to, yes.
Yes, we can detect that now.
Oh, very well.
Well, you can, and Maggie can.
You have learned the spell to gain fervent sense.
Yes, from Todriana.
Well, may I hold the crystal?
You might want some
I
like
thought that was a
gloves.
bad idea.
Do you need to borrow some gloves, or
No. And he pulls out a pair of his own.
here you go?
Holds it up to the light after studying it for a moment. Well, that's a fervent crystal for sure. Nearly all of its energy is drained. When the crystals have their energy used up, they they turn this sort of color. They lose their gloss, they become more matted. But this is not something that I've seen before. I've never seen a crystal cut like this. And although I've seen expired crystals before, this one seems different. It seems that this might have a bit of energy left. I'm not sure. But if this belonged to Fervent, on such an unusual cut of the crystal, may indicate it did, then you have found something of great importance. Anything that belonged to Fervent is incredibly important. And he hands you the crystal back.
Put it back in his box. Put it back with my oregano.
The definitely not irradiated oregano. 100% not irradiated.
Yes, it's a spider.
I would recommend that you do not show that unless you need to.
Well, that's been my general plan, but I figured if anyone could tell me more about it, it would be you.
I wish I had more info to share, but I've never seen anything like this, and it strikes me as something very, very odd.
If we were to ever be in Drogmara, who would be a safe person to talk to about them?
If you plan to travel to Drogmara, please let me know. I can meet you there. There's a lot of ambitious people in Drogmara who may want to take advantage of you. I hope you can trust in this initial reaction, or interaction rather, that I have no desire to take advantage of you.
Do I feel like he's on the level?
Insight
about
check.
That? Yeah. When someone says, I don't want to take advantage of you, it makes me... Okay.
Good.
I got a 16.
Okay.
26.
Okay. Do either of you get a strong sense that he's trying to be deceptive or manipulative? You kind of get the idea that he recognizes you're probably not from around here, given your accents.
I'm Maggie. I've been around you forever.
You've still been talking like Soria.
I know.
So he seems to want to convey there are definitely people who try to take advantage of you, and I'm not interested in doing so. In whatever clumsy way that might be.
Alright. I guess I have one question about Fervent, if you don't mind.
Please ask away.
When he pushed north into the wilds,
Yes?
what did he do with / and how did he interact with the native people?
From the accounts that we still have of his travels through the Fervent Wilds, as we call them today at least, he seemed to be approachable and attempted to be understanding. The Great Western Road. Most people who come from the wilds travel on it. Cuts right through Whitfeld. Goes down through Drogmara and all the way to Krebstadt. It actually starts far to the east in Ilsirin, where they were building it from. And that road was urged by Fervent to try and create a place to gather and travel between all of the different countries of this continent. As best as we understand, he approached the people who lived in the wilds with respect and wanted to try to help them. Not always succeeding, but the reason that that road meanders and varies and winds so much is that he did everything he could to build it around people's lands and homes. So, take that tale with maybe several grains of salt. But he seems to want to help more than harm. Does that answer your question?
I think so. Have you found anything interesting here in this site?
We've been here for just over a year. We found interesting period artifacts, but not the revolutionary pieces I was hoping to find.
You might want to try just talking to Otto. Otto Hart.
Who?
Otto Hartfeld,
I don't know him.
the finest prince. He's a turtle. He,
Does he run that sigil making?
yeah.
I see.
He knew Fervin when he was here in Nordfeld.
He knew Fervor.
Yeah, he made his sigil for him.
I am surprised. Although it does make sense that a turtle lives that long.
Well, maybe Otto would have known something about a site so close if Fervin was actually working here.
I will have to ask Otto about that. It seems like a good place to start.
Before we leave, I have 2 questions.
Of course.
The first question is, are you aware of anyone who may be wishing to obtain fervent tech? We have been pursuing a man named Coromont who has been stealing fervent tech on behalf of a client,
Perhaps someone in the Cormer Republic.
or perhaps Costeria.
There are many countries around the world that want the fervent technology for themselves. It would not surprise me if any of these places was looking for more. The Cormo Republic used to make most of the fervent tech. Their large factories churned out new devices all the time, all to fervent specifications. If they were looking for more, perhaps they were looking to revitalize the industry somehow. Whole families were wiped out. Several of the dragon families disappeared. Not that I particularly enjoy using that term, but no one else seems to know what I mean when I refuse to say it.
I don't know what you mean when you do say it. You mean like you, dragon families?
They wish.
What's a dragon family then?
The dragon families are the de facto rulers of the Cornwall Republic. They fashion themselves after us dragons, after our clan, our brood, here in Glindring. They call themselves that because they are so powerful. Many of them have profited greatly off of industries and shipping and violence. Hardly good company. If they are dragons, then truly my species is lost. But they claim our names to suit their own benefit.
But they're not actually dragons. They're like, what, dwarves?
They are humans, dwarves, elves, halflings. The only thing that they aren't are dragons.
I have one more question. Oh, you had one more question.
Yes, I had a second question.
Please.
She who is Gloria was kind enough to give me this trifold brochure as an introduction to urban maintenance. I am wondering, before I depart, if you might have a text or larger book on beginning or perhaps intermediate maintenance that I might use for further study.
I do have one of those manuals. I cannot loan it to you, though. It is in active use here at the camp.
Do you think perhaps I could obtain such a thing in Drogmara?
Almost assuredly you can. Anything that we make, we keep in print and provide copy for compensation. Just the costs of production in the capital.
What are some titles that he should look for?
Advanced Guide to Fervent Maintenance.
Doesn't sound exciting.
It isn't. It is an instruction book.
Any others?
Not that I'm aware of.
Well,
We are, to my knowledge, the foremost authority on fervent tech and its maintenance and construction.
well, I will practice with what I have, and if we ever make our way to Drogmara, we'll attempt to obtain a copy of this advanced guide and any other thing that is similar. Thank you very much.
Of course.
Yeah.
Maggie, you had a question as
Oh,
well?
I forgot.
Oh.
Steel trap, that is.
Is there anything else that we
It's
wish
gone.
to learn from the Fervent Guard?
What's your best Staxi players at the camp?
I don't know. I don't keep track of who's the best Staxi players around. It's not what I do.
I mean, it's good to have hobbies.
I don't disagree, but keeping track of the Staxi players is not one of mine.
When Fervent went north, did he find or read anything about that you heard of? About any sort of, like, changelings up there?
A changeling? I've heard of such individuals, never met one. And as far as I know, Fervent never wrote about changelings.
Alright.
Okay, then. I do believe that we have finished and we have taken much of your time.
And about 3 pages of notes.
Good?
So thank you very much, and thank those of the camp who have assisted us, and good luck in your searching for something dramatic and useful.
Thank you very much. I'm going to get back to my work now.
Okay.
Alright, let's leave the tent, Winfred.
Did you?
No. I'm just joking.
I mean, you can tell me where you want to lead the horse. I'm not gonna.
I'm
fight you on
surprised
that.
Robert didn't
To
say
water.
anything in the house.
Shall we go back then?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, also, grab toolkit.
it's a half a day, so let's go back.
Okay, you head back to camp, or no, from camp. Excuse me,
From
back
camp.
into Nordfeld. The trip is slow, but far from perilous, and you make it back just as the end of the day is.
Do you want to stop and get a
coming around.
pretzel on the way back? No? Are you pretzeled out?
This road was very poorly maintained. I am very glad that we did not bring a cart, even a two-wheeled one.
Good. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Why would we bring a cart?
We did not bring a cart.
But
Why would we have brought a cart?
But like, why are you bringing it up at all?
I am just saying that it would have been a very great inconvenience to have had a cart on such a
mean-
poorly maintained road.
Like a dog sled would have been even more inconvenient.
I am glad we did not bring one of those.
Yes, I'm glad we did not bring dog.
Is there anything else I should be glad we did not bring?
Oh, probably.
Okay. Do you wish to enumerate all of them?
Nope.
No,
Two's enough.
please. I'm just gonna sit back here, go right ahead, and
Is the croissant shop still open?
oh sure, the croissant shop is open. What? Let's do it. I
Is it
love
an
it.
all
We're
night
here to
croissant
clear
all
you out
day?
again.
I stop in and I would like to buy. How many croissants would you each like to have each?
Too many.
There's about 3 dozen in the shop still.
That would be way too many.
It's like how many we bought last
You,
time.
you guys
now that's
bought
too
3
many.
dozen
Well,
last
way too,
time.
I know that was way too many. I would like to buy.
Do we still have some left from that?
That's up to you guys.
We left them on the buffet so that we could share with the
The saltworthy.
saltworthy.
Who we haven't
They
seen
were-
yet.
You still
The
haven't met them,
saltworthy
but
have become
boy,
the
do you talk a
stale.
lot of shit about them?
Yeah, they have become the stale croissant worthy. I would like to buy 1 dozen of your regular sized croissants, please. Not the little bitty ones, but the regular size.
There's only a half dozen left at this point. Is that all right?
No,
You said
Soph,
there were
you should
3
fight them.
dozen.
Of the mini
Of the
ones.
mini
Oh, the
ones.
little bitty ones.
Yeah.
I will
Since that
take-
was the one you guys bought last time, I just gave you 3 dozen of the bitty ones.
Okay, I will buy the half dozen of the regular ones.
Okay.
Do you have any sort
much
of
is that?
Navinian special?
2 copper.
Okay.
Do you have any sort of special Navinian like pastries that aren't croissants that I've never seen or heard of?
Oui. We have a special Navinian tort, and if you give me a moment, I can actually tell you what that is made of.
Is it like sweet like an apple fritter? Because those are a little too sweet.
While you're doing that, I give each of you 2 regular sized croissants each.
I'm just gonna start eating in their lobby and just get crumbs everywhere.
I'm sure they're used to that.
How's the state of their sign right now?
It's getting cleaned.
Like still? It's been like
I
3
mean,
days.
they're bakers. They're pastry makers. They're not sign cleaners. There it is. This is a tort made of kumbi fruit. It is very aromatic, very sweet, but has a bitter note to it. It is a southern Navinian specialty from the country of Rune. It is the only place in the world where they grow it.
I'll try it.
They pull one out and put it inside of a delicate little box that they fold and then hand to you.
How much?
That is 3 copper. And We greatly appreciate the patronage that you have shown us in the last several days. We like to see regular customers. It supports the business.
They
What's
like
your
to
most
see-
expensive item?
They like to see regular customers. I am surprised they like us.
The most
If you would like your customers to be more regular, I recommend more oats and barley.
ooh, we have several oat cookies, and there are some barley-based bread
Oh,
that we have.
that would probably help.
Did you need
No,
some?
I'm okay right now, but thank you.
Oh, okay.
Nines, you were making a
You
request.
wanted the most expensive item?
Well, I just want to know,
We can. Well, things from our cases, they are not so expensive. But if you wanted a whole cake or a tiramisu, we create them as well. Different desserts from all over the world.
You should just buy a cake for yourself and have them write congratulations nines on it and just give it to yourself.
I did have a successful concert.
And
Good job, me.
And you're scheduled for another one.
He's on a roll. A rock and roll.
Boo. My bad jokes. I don't need cake, but I do have one question.
Oui?
What do you think happened to Fervin?
Excusez?
Never mind.
Oui? I shall, how you say, carry on. Then.
Oh, you make curry?
No.
Oh,
Oh, we do not.
I thought you said
sorry.
you would curry on.
Carry on.
Oh,
Carry on. Yes. Well, then, thank you very much for the croissants and the information about your most expensive items. And good luck in cleaning your sign. I do hope that at some time you will be able to restore it.
I think a few more days scrubbing shall take that off.
Yes, Koromons does not spend much money on paint. It should come off fairly easily, I think.
how do you know how much money he spends on paint?
He would steal it.
So he would steal the best stuff?
No, he would steal very bad paint. He does not
Why?
understand paint. I do not know. It was clear from the painting on the... Never mind.
Oh, Seth. Like,
Very opinionated.
I think Greg is leaking into Ulseth on this one with strong opinions about paint.
Thank you very much for the croissants.
Watch
We will
our
try to.
painting
We will
show.
try to be. We will try to be more like a regular customer next time we come, rather than the kind of customers we were today.
Okay.
We didn't even use their bathroom.
No.
So
This is the
So
over
let's go back to the
70 and
company
the
house.
under 7.
we're making poop jokes and
In a completely unforced random bakery business.
I don't even need to prompt you guys. The poop jokes just happen.
Well,
Poop happens.
Though it's my number 2 priority in this
I'll
campaign.
try the tort on my way out.
Just getting over what Nine said. We really hit our demos good. Just
Yeah.
sure. Shall we go back to the company?
tort is nice. The quimby fruit. It's spelled Quimby. Quimby. The quimby fruit is a flavor unlike any you've had previously. It is sweet, but not like an apple or a cherry. It's a little bit closer to sweetness of like a carrot. There's a savory quality to this fruit, and there is this little note of bitterness to it, and there's these delightful little seeds that kind of pop in your mouth like a boba. They're little teeny tiny things, about the size of like a grain of sand, and it's just a very unique, very different experience than any other pastry that you've eaten.
Are you gonna roll to see if you had a turtle day?
Yes.
Shall we go back to the company house?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you don't want to do more shopping, Olsef? Maybe you need more rope.
Yeah, how's your rope supply doing?
I am fine with rope. I have not used any in 2 days now.
Are you sure?
Yes.
There's no record for you.
As I enter the company house, like, you who are steward,
Yes.
have you made any progress yet in the recovery of our funds that were stolen here in this very building?
We'll just go straight to the buffet.
I have not had the opportunity to make significant progress in the case.
Well,
No.
I wish you well in your continued endeavors. And I go to the buffet with the other two.
Enjoy your meal.
Do I enjoy my meal?
You tell me.
Yes.
Very good.
I do. I would have enjoyed
For
it
any-
more if they had recovered our funds, but
For any beginner players watching, that's what we call a meal check. Now that's where you take your charisma modifier and your proficiency bonus, divide by 3 and raise to the power of 10, and the DM sets a DC threshold that they do not tell the players, and then you determine whether you enjoy your meal or not. And he did.
and if you happen to catch, some of the new little bits that they're going to be doing soon, that were promoted at the very beginning of this about rules, there is almost certain to be perhaps maybe even a series of 3 or more about this specific rule.
It's a very complex rule, but very important to good storytelling and role-playing is the meal check.
So be sure to tune in. You don't want to miss those. Nope.
Well, I guess I'll do a shower check since we're doing those right now.
Go ahead.
You're
The
just
shower
licking
check-
yourself.
The shower check is a lesser-known component that was added in during arrivals of Waterdeep. The Waterdeep, of course, referring mostly to bathing and how deep the bathtub is that you're in.
I practice locks and go to sleep.
I practice fervent tech repair and go to sleep.
I loudly play the ziffer in the middle of the
guys are
night.
Perfect. Perfect. You do that.
Do I have to roll percentile?
Yes, you do. Please, go ahead.
Does everyone have to roll percentile?
79.
No, this is just for her lock.
Just 9?
Oh, okay.
79.
Oh.
If you wouldn't mind writing that down for me, because I'll just ask to reference it later.
And my fervent tech with my trifold brochure.
Go ahead, and you'll make this percentile roll with advantage this time because you have a little guide. I just threw a hair tie over there.
Well, that first one really was not good.
Well, is high or low good?
Generally speaking, higher is better.
Okay.
So to explain this,
God.
the quasi-hidden mechanic that I have for learning these
I
things,
got a 3 on a percentile roll.
sometimes they can be really good. Not this time.
And a 28.
So, if you wouldn't mind writing
Or
the
a
28
300.
down.
I might have gotten a 300.
300%.
300%.
28.
So the sort of hidden mechanic that I have been applying here, I haven't really explained it to everyone, but as you're acquiring these new skills, I thought, what's a way where you could slowly accumulate practice to earn like an eventual proficiency with these things? So there is a threshold that is set based on what you're trying to do and the difficulty of it, and once you hit that threshold of numbers that have been added up over time, then I'm going to allow you to gain proficiency in that particular skill or tool or instrument so that you can use it proficiently. So there's different thresholds for each of you.
So did you need to roll proficient or percentile?
For Zither.
Oh, that's right. He said that he was playing a Zither. So yes, please roll
Yes,
away.
very loudly in the middle of the night. And that's a 31.
Okay. If you wouldn't mind writing that down, and I'll get all these numbers from you guys after the session. As you bed down and practice your individual pursuits for the evening, we're going to take a quick break so I can refill my tea, and then we'll be right back, and we'll be diving into day 6, nearing the end of our week on this. So stick with us. We will be back soon. Thanks, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We have returned from break, and day 6 of the week is about to start. The group wakes up the next morning in the company house. Nothing stolen. And
Why not?
we'll pick back up there.
We don't have anything worth stealing anymore.
Oh,
Well, except all that valuable stuff we have.
I guess if you want me to steal things from you guys, I could.
Who said that? Perception check. 15.
you were just having a
The
weird
voice
cat
of
moment.
God says it. That's
Nines, are you having auditory hallucinations?
Yes, I think it was that croissant you gave me.
Ah. Yes, perhaps that is it. Perhaps we should not have any such more rich food before retiring.
Yes, I am not having a croissant night.
Did I have a turtle day?
Do you have a turtle day?
Because I ate the tort.
Yeah, well, okay, go ahead and roll for that. Roll with advantage. It was a good tort.
8.
You're not the biggest fan of Quimby fruit, apparently.
I'm not the biggest fan of Quimby fruit, apparently.
Well, I am sorry that it was a disappointment.
It's alright.
My croissant was fine. I am sorry that Nines had a bad reaction to his.
How are the other 4 croissants?
You each had 2.
No, I just had the tort.
I gave you 2.
Oh.
Well, now you've still got 2 croissants. Well, now,
So, what do we want to do today?
Execute! Oh, wait, we had planned first.
You're getting the order of operations wrong.
The plan does need to be made. Then you can execute the plan. That's
okay.
the usual order.
Well, we have Potstrom Grimmy. I have a trifold brochure about Intro to Fervent Tech Repair, which has been most helpful. I made a tiny bit of progress last night before retiring.
Is your armor done yet? I'm tired of waiting.
I think it has one more day, correct?
It does have one more day, yes.
Perhaps we should ask Solos whether anyone has asked for us by name.
Oh, you mean if we have a job?
Yes.
Do work. All right.
But we get free food and don't have to do anything.
Oh, we could continue to do this for quite some time.
This is great.
I also haven't heard back from Otto yet about that cloth.
Shall we go visit Otto?
As you're
Actually, it's just like saltworthy in the establishment.
Start a fist fight.
well, let's see. No, they are not.
I don't think they really exist.
I believe you are correct. We have not seen any saltworthy. Or either, none.
The steward overhears you talking about the saltworthy. Degrading your fellow mercenaries?
No, we just simply do not believe they exist.
Oh, they exist.
We have not seen any evidence of their existence. That is why we were speculating about whether or not they did exist.
They are out working their task.
What is their task?
It's important.
I cannot reveal the nature of their work.
I hope you did not reveal the nature of our work to anyone then either.
No.
We revealed the nature of our work to a whole lot of people.
Would you reveal it for a cup of mead?
No.
At 9 a.m.
No, I would not.
That's night in this part of town.
Oh, that's true.
Do you want to go visit Otto?
Yeah, I guess if we don't have anything else. But I think you said he was going to come to us.
Oh,
As you're sitting around bantering in the
Banter.
common room,
Banter.
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 Doing this right in front of the steward, too.
Friendly banter.
Friendly banter back.
Friendly banter to you, Nine.
Yeah, that's Saltworthy.
As we're
Top-notch improv performances here. Banter, banter, banter,
Role
banter.
playing.
That's why I'm
Truly.
the big books.
Truly, we are.
So, do you have any exposition for us, fellow traveler?
Truly, we are the
So,
best at this.
as we are bantering,
Banter.
Yeah, as you're bantering. The lights in the room, which are all like wall sconces, so large candles, fire in the fireplace. It starts to dim, and the candlelight it becomes smaller and smaller.
the murder
The
cop found us.
flames reduce, and then
No,
In
Ludolf
the-
has found us.
in the entryway,
Ludorf, that guy.
there's a circle of light, and it forms right in front of the door. As you start to look at it, little runic patterns are crisscrossing about, creating some sort of design inside of this ring of light. And then, as it comes near to what seems to be completion of this pattern, little bits of lightning start crackling in the air, just tiny little bolts, and suddenly you're blinded for just a moment by a flash, and then
Cormomph!
before you all, you see a bit of smoke, perhaps steam, dissipating, and there are now 3 individuals, all in fairly similar garb, standing in the front entryway.
Are you Murder Cult or looking for Murder Cult?
The one in the front, who is a fairly tall elf, he looks over at you. We were summoned here?
I will turn to the steward. Could you get Soloth? I think the Arcane Masters have arrived.
Yes, I shall. Excuse me. And the steward runs off down the hall more quickly than you're used to seeing him move.
Yes, Commander Soloth will be on his way shortly.
And who are you?
We're the ones that found Murder Cult.
Yes,
I-
that is what I asked.
My name is Sordia. I'm one of the mercenaries here at the Company of Blades.
And were you the one who saw a murder
Oh,
cult?
all of us did, yeah.
You all saw a murder cult.
Yes.
Very well.
I ran away.
That is true. You were scarcely there at all.
And from his gray, embroidered with kind of a gold patterned robe, he pulls out a scepter. And this scepter is almost mercurial in its appearance. It has a very bright sheen to it, high gloss finish. Looks almost as though it's infused with a bit of gold, but it has this liquid quality to it. And it's a little uncomfortable to stare at. It's drawing your attention, but you keep wanting to look away from it at the same time. And after a moment, you look back and it has shifted its shape. It is now a floating writing desk that hovers a few feet off of the ground, and a quill. Which one of you is here to sign the contract with us?
Oh, are you asking for us by name?
What is the name that I should be asking for?
We haven't figured that part out yet.
The ones who found the murder cult.
Okay, well, the ones who found the
Wow, now the
murder
salt over there are gonna make fun of our name.
cult. So,
You can just put down Soria.
He already wrote something down, Soria. It'd be rude to, like, make him
I
rewrite
will
it.
put you as the contact person. Soria. That's spelled with an X.
Yes.
Well, after a moment of studying this new group, you notice that whenever this individual you're speaking with, this very haughty male elf, speaks, the female elf, who instead of wearing robes is wearing this gray-colored but also embroidered with gold patterns, and in some places there's this kind of gold enamel over pieces of armor. She is a little shorter than he, and she's certainly more kind of stout, tough-looking, very rugged in her appearance. But her clothes are very elegant. She has a short cut kind of side, and then a longer cut over on her left. And every time he speaks, she's just kind of doing and like silently, mockingly mouthing his words behind him. After a few moments of uncomfortable silence, where the tall elf gentleman is just looking at you all disapprovingly, Soloth comes out. Ah, I see that the Arcane Masters have arrived. Ian, it's good to see you again. And the female elf steps forward. Soloth, it's been far too long since we've run into each other. So I hear that you have a murder cult? Is that what you've got underneath the sewers of Nordfeld?
Well, actually, I must intervene. It was not underneath the sewers. It was in the sewers themselves.
Well,
I feel like the guy with the writing desk will appreciate that sort of specificity.
he is taking notes. And where would you describe the exact location of this event?
Under grade 75-0171.
7-4.
74. I want to just fix that.
Please describe the nature of the event.
Oh, sorry, you asked where.
And I have noted where.
The nature of the event was a chalk magic circle written out on the ground, a ominous presence, shifting shadow forms out of the corner of one's eyes, an eerie stillness, and a series of 5 runes on the walls which caused immense pain to look at.
And a dagger and blood.
A dagger and blood and an eviscerated body in the center of the cult. Of the circle.
No, we couldn't find the body.
No, there were parts.
Yes.
The third member of this group, who had not spoken yet, and had just been looking around the room, just sort of taking in the scene, grabs a sort of dull looking, it's matte in its appearance, but has that same sort of liquidy quality, that mercurial effect to it, just much more, much less lustrous, I'll say, than the first gentleman's implement. And he grabs this, it's just kind of floating over his left shoulder, and in his hand it shifts from this cubic shape to what appears to be a almost wand-like shape. And he steps forward to you all and just starts moving the wand around, like, it's sort of the silhouette of your figures.
What is he doing?
It is very peculiar.
I think he's gonna confiscate our shampoo.
What are you doing?
He looks up and then shifts his glasses further up the bridge of his nose. Reaches into a pocket on his side, pulls out a card and looks at it and begins to read. My name is Dole. I'm told that I should try to engage in more conversational elements. Flips
That
to the
was
next
very well
card.
done.
Great.
I can help you with that.
I am
So what do
scanning
you think happened to Fervin?
to ensure that there was no remaining ethereal or other realms and dimensions remaining on your persons.
Well, are there?
No.
Is that good?
He turns to the other elf. They experienced a class 4 temporal shift, possibly a class 5 realm disruption.
Is that good?
A higher or better number is good.
And he goes back. Now he's just waving this wand implement over parts of your gear, over your boots, kind of in front of your face.
I bat at it.
Please don't bat at the wand.
Don't stick it in my face.
Does not care.
The knife we found was left under the care of Commander Soloth, yeah. The one that was used for the murder.
I believe this is now the first elf again. You believe that you have the murder implement with you? Is that right?
Well, it was covered in blood in the middle of the viscera, so we are working under that assumption.
Very well.
Maybe it just fell there on its own.
Commander Soloth, would you please bring out the murder implement so that we may document and, if necessary, seize this implement? And
Roleplay
Soloth
with
just kind of
yourself.
looks at him like, hang on.
Well, what's your name, sir?
Alright, who are you?
The one, the first guy. I heard the other one's name, so.
My name is Slinrian.
Lynn Rian. Sounds like a good name.
It is a name of exceptionally high quality. Thank you.
Perhaps we can use it in
That's
our name.
saltworthy.
From behind him, the female elf comes up. I give it a rest, Slinny, and slaps him on the back.
I think she's the nines of the group.
You've never been through this before. Really, Soloth contacted us. Yeah, don't worry about him. He's just a bit full of himself. Likes to think he's pretty important. He's not.
Are you then important?
Nah, none of us are really that important. We just, we work for the Arcane Masters. That's what we do, And travel all around the world and experience cool things. And I get to
Like what?
fight a whole bunch of stuff with my big old glaive here. And from behind her just pulls out this massive mercurial glaive.
That is a very formidable weapon.
Aye, yeah. I love this thing. It's great.
I have a rusty rapier. Want to see it?
Sure.
I pull out my shitty rapier. Look, it sucks. Like saltworthy.
Yeah, that does. Here, hang on a sec. Can I borrow it?
Sure.
Yeah,
What am I gonna do if it stabs someone?
Not well, from what we've experienced.
Slinrian rolls his eyes very hard. Ian, we talked about this. You said that you wouldn't do it anymore. Hey, whatever, Slinny. Yeah, just helping him out. And she drags. She first shrinks this glaive down. Again, you're seeing this mercurial element, and her glaive is made of this much shinier than Dole's, but not quite as shiny as Slinrian's implement. And she shrinks it down to basically a hammer and puts the sword on a table and starts gently pounding on it. And after just a few seconds of her kind of methodically pounding gently down the blade, you notice that the rust has now disappeared. And the sword, as she goes over it, seems to be mending.
She's ruining your sword.
Yeah, here you go. Hate to see a rusty weapon, but they are hard to maintain, and, adventurers, we kind of get a rough life of things around here, so try to help out where I can.
I appreciate it. I mostly use my, I usually use my razor-sharp tongue to take my enemies down.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. No, I always like going into battle with someone who's quick-witted. Makes for real good repartee when you're engaging in a little bit of riposte with all of the enemies, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, that.
It's more fun to run someone through with a good pun and a good sword.
I know you're not from Costeria, but are you familiar with my companion's weapons here?
Yes, you seem to know about weapons. I do not wish you to do anything to them, but I will show them to you.
Oh.
I show her a Katiralar and a Lashalar.
It's a very fine set you have. I'm assuming that you didn't serve in the military, though.
Oh, no. I did receive these from my teacher, who was a member of the Order of Remarden.
Never heard of that place. Or Creed or Origin or whatever it is. News to me. But those are some very fine Castirian military grade weapons right there.
Ah, so you know nothing more about these other than that they are Costerian?
No, they're common Castirian armament that you mostly used in larger campaigns. See, the idea of this is that you can have a whole line of troops all standing next to each other. And in everyone's hand, and whatever the army's preference is, they can choose their left or right, depending on, what's the dominant one. And their left or right hand, they can use that to block incoming attacks in front of the person on their left and right. And then the other hand is free to strike out at whoever that attacker is.
Ah, I see. So these are not terribly special weapons, but they are Costerian.
Well, they're unique to Costerian, and each of them is made in only a few forges around the country. So, they're special to some. They're not exactly the rarest of implements, but they are unique to the country of Costeria.
Do you want to ask about Tashir?
I will soon. This armor is also from my teacher, Lanfiren, of the Order of Remarden. Can you tell me anything about this?
Well, I haven't seen markings quite like that before. It's a little different. Dole is just letting out a long sigh. The armor comes from one of the more secretive sects of the Costerian military. They're the Tashira Noon. And now he just goes back to scanning.
Tashira Noon armor?
I have heard of the Order of Tashiranun, that they were a group of very elite soldiers, but that Tashir and Ramardan had been companions and had worked together, but Ramardan had subsequently left Tashir. So this is Tashir Anun armor, but I received it from someone who belonged not to the Order of Tashir Anun, but of Ramardan.
Don't know what to tell you. I'm not exactly an expert on Costeria. They, not a big fan of us over in Ilsiren.
I see. So even though you are near Costeria, you do not know much of Costeria.
I mean, we visited a couple times, but they're not the biggest, they're not big fans of us.
Why is that?
Reckless use of arcane magics. It's not exactly reckless. It is a well-trained, honed, and practiced skill. Whatever, Slinny.
So Dol, you who are Dol, do you know anything more about this armor or about these weapons?
Through bored-looking expression, he pushes up his glasses once more along the bridge of his nose. No. And then goes back to what he was doing.
Insight check.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Sure.
Guidance.
It's not gonna help.
19.
6.
I got
Just
8.
bored.
The best that you can figure is that Dole just doesn't care, but always wants to make sure people state the correct thing. That's sort of the vibe.
Oh, God, he's the internet.
And, Ian, I will have you know that employers do not like to be called the Arcane Masters. You know that. Whatever.
What do they like to be called?
Softworthy.
Our name in the native Costerian is Gwithna Ikram.
Oh, I'm never gonna remember that.
No.
Rithna Ecom. I wrote it down.
GWYTH space NA space YQRUM.
Okay, so they did get a couple vowels in there.
At that moment, Soloth comes back, bearing the murder implement, and presents it to Slinrearn. Thank you. I appreciate you bringing that forth post haste. And he goes back to taking notes. Dole, now intrigued, is waving this wand over it. And as he does, it starts to glow.
Is that a good thing?
We have a dimensional rupture. We need to go investigate the area, otherwise it could spill out into cross-dimensional pollination, triggering a cascade event.
I knew
This
the
is-
word pollination. Not in that context.
Can you? Where is it? This dimension coming from? Can you identify that?
Looks over at you. Somehow his glasses just keep sliding down his nose and he keeps pushing them back up.
I know that pain.
This is a dimensional incursion from a source that we have not yet fully documented or explored. It has not been seen before in our realm.
Oh, it's new.
I am
That's
most
exciting.
confused. When we had attempted to detect magic, we found none on this stagger.
Nor would you, and I don't have time to explain it to you.
It seems we have much time, but if you do not care to explain, that is fine.
You may have time. I do not. And he goes back to scanning various things.
What was the sort of energy, the magical residue in the site? What type of magic was it again?
I'm trying to remember.
When we went back in.
Yeah, when we went back.
Oh man. Gotta go through my notes.
Lessons in good note taking.
So when he scanned me though, my like journal didn't ping because with the runes in it.
No.
Okay.
As he finishes his scans of the dagger, reaches back, pulls out some more cards. I have been told that I need to ask permission before I seek out any personal artifacts or items of interest otherwise owned by the people who have asked us to investigate flips the card. Temporal, dimensional, or other outer realm incursion. Do I have your permission?
Transmutation. It depends on what it is. But yes, in general.
I need to scan your rooms to see if there is a dimensional incursion.
Sure.
Sure.
Okay, but if you find any money, it's mine.
You should note that when we return to the chamber where the, what did you say, phenomenon occurred? Everything had disappeared, but there was a faint lingering aura of transmutation magic about the whole chamber.
Well, we have seen that happen in the past. There are a string of incidences similar to this that seem to have coincidental themes. Your transmutation magic adds up with the accounts of other individuals who've experienced similar events. There was, I'm guessing, a dark foreboding aura.
Yes?
You saw some sort of audio and visual hallucinatory effects.
Skittering shadow figures at the corners of our eyes.
And then when you returned at a later date, everything was...
Wiped clean.
Yes.
However, should we hit him with the big thing now?
Oh, yes.
I was able to recover further evidence of this.
You were able to recover further evidence.
At great personal cost to myself, both physically and mentally, I was able to, actually it was extremely painful and I almost died. I was able to copy down 2 of the 5 runes. But, before I hand them over...
At that moment, Dole now looks over at you.
However, full warning, looking at these causes indescribable pain searing in the center of your mind. And they don't seem to want to exist.
When you say that last thing, they don't seem to want to exist. In all 3 of their eyes, and for the first moment in Dole's expression, any sort of emotion registers on his face is an almost uncomfortable shift to observe, but they all have this kind of little twinkle in their eyes, like a child on Christmas morning
That's why it's going to be very expensive.
I am allowed to compensate in proportion to the importance of recovered artifacts, including runes.
Perhaps you could compensate in proportion to the amount of pain it causes you when you appear upon them.
That will be one of the conditions on which I judge our compensation. Yes.
All right.
Would you please show us the runes?
I'll pull out my copied page that I made. That's folded together.
Well, all right, go ahead. This is your thing.
Be very careful. It will mess with you.
He grabs a journal.
It's just a sheet of paper.
Just a sheet of paper. Grabs a sheet of paper. And now the for wand morphs again and changes into a pair of glasses.
He's already wearing some.
Yeah, and he takes his old ones off and puts these on. They are... They don't have glass in the frame. It's solid. So you're not quite sure what they would be used for, but they sit on his face just like his normal ones. And he stares at the runes. Oh. That hurt.
I've spent quite a bit of time looking at them, and it doesn't get better.
No, it does not. And he begins copying the runes down on a sheet of paper that he's produced,
I was able to get...
just staring at them.
I
While
wasn't...
he's staring at that, is there any way that I can get a piece of paper that's the side of his card, write something down, and try to slip it into his stack of cards?
Make a sleight of hand check.
I was able to copy down a half rune, but because it wasn't finished, it doesn't really have the potency or any...
I got a 17. I do want to argue that he is...
No, you can do that. Yeah.
With a... Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I will text you something to see if it does anything.
You're gonna text me something. Okay, I'll grab my phone. then.
I'll have to figure out what I wrote on there, but that's what I wanted to do.
Okay.
Keep narrating.
He finishes writing down the runes, and then folds the paper back up. He removes the glasses, and there's like blood coming from his eyes.
Yeah, that's the thing that happens.
Found that to be moderately painful. And his two companions are like, dang.
So, as you can see, it almost cost me my life to get you this information. And that's the only surviving copy.
For the privilege of copying these runes and returning them to our operation centers, I believe that this would qualify in the 3,000 gold category.
That's divisible by 3, even though I took all of the damage.
If you care to release these runes into possession, I will need you to sign this contract.
Are you gonna use them to, like, open up a tear in time and space in a dimensional rupture?
Our use of these is proprietary.
Yeah, I'll sign that. That's what I do to get the money, right?
Yes.
Should I sign it?
Well, you get your copy back, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Make
think
sure
you should
get your
ask for
copy back.
3,500.
Each.
Given the immense emotional trauma I went through as well, could I get a magical item as well with it?
No.
What if I give you the half rune?
That is part of this compensation.
Oh. I don't think I'm gonna get much more.
No, they're not.
That's still a lot of money.
Yeah, it's better than nothing. Let's see if we can.
Yes, 3,000 gold is definitely better than nothing.
I like how
I will.
there's 3,000 gold and the player's like, oh, I guess.
That's like a whole nother suit of armor. I will sign.
He hands you the Quicksilver quill, and assuming you signed paper,
I want to sniff the quill and see what it smells like.
it smells like nothing. It's almost completely absent of any odor.
I taste it.
Are you gonna lick it?
Yeah.
It tastes a little bit like ozone. It's very unpleasant. Well, why does everyone do that?
What is this made out of? Is it important?
Yes, quite. And Een, the female, is just like over there with Soloth, and they are both doing that. I'm laughing so hard, but I don't want to make a noise doing this. Like, it's like that laughter on a plane when you're watching a particularly funny movie and you don't want to piss off all the other passengers. So you're stifling your laughter and it hurts. And they're just both clearly red in the face. Soloth already being red is more red in the face.
Give him this quill back. Have you ever encountered runes like these before? Something that is painful to look at and doesn't seem of this world?
We have encountered many dangerous things in the world. And Dole goes back to his deck of cards.
Do you have a catalog system?
I want to thank you for the opportunity of allowing me to gain information on Nines is the best loot player ever, and the tall elf is a poopy head and smells like poop.
He doesn't read anything that's on the card.
And then just puts it back in his pocket. Hey, I mean, you want to do it.
That's in every conversation he ever ends now.
I mean, and in his mind, at that point, he's supposed to flip to a second card, and then that's the end of what he's saying. So now that's where that is. And the next time he looks at the cards, he's going to start on the other half of that conversation. But great.
I hope we see him again.
Celsior doesn't seem to notice. He was too busy formalizing the contract and stamping in a lot of places. There's a lot of stamping going on from him right now. And not with his feet.
What's the coolest thing you've ever seen magically that you're allowed to discuss?
Who are you asking?
I was gonna ask Dole, but he's just gonna read more cards, so I'll see.
I mean, he might not. You don't know. Do you want to ask Dole?
Yeah.
The most interesting thing that I've ever witnessed is a Class 7 dimensional entity. It was so horrifying that I lost the ability to speak, breathe, and perform basic bodily functions for 3 months.
Oh.
I
But
had
you
to
got
be
better.
completely hospitalized.
What did it look like?
A horror so great that if I were to describe it to you, not only would you lose your mind, but I would lose my mind in the process of describing it.
Do you think it came from the same place that these runes did?
I prefer not to make conjecture.
But if you did, what would you conject?
Goes back to his cards. And we appreciate the business that this allows us to conduct, for this is how the Order maintains its operations. Providing conjecture on what may or may not happen, events that are terrifying, or what is the possible outcome of any single event may, flips card, create unforeseen temporal or dimensional nexuses that are unable to be fixed even by the most advanced mages. So that is why we... and puts them back.
I'm curious, have you ever encountered a magical stone that can, with some help, transmute any object into any other object?
No.
Okay.
Such a power would be among the greatest magical artifacts ever known.
I
Yeah.
have a question for you.
Yes.
If your two compatriots got into a fight, which one would win?
It depends on the nature of the fight, and answering the question beyond that is a futile exercise in imagination.
So I have a question which is, I think, more practical. You said that the Class 7 interdimensional being essentially destroyed you for 3 months, and you say that we have a Class 4 and possibly Class 5 situation here. Is this a linear scale or a logarithmic one?
Yes.
What happened to the entity?
I was told that it was destroyed.
Who told you that?
To clarify, did you say that the entity was... Did you say call it 3 when you... I think you said...
No, he said 7.
Class 7.
7, okay. I for some reason thought I heard class 3.
Did our runes escalate our class at all?
No.
Oh.
They are anticipated in the category of anomaly that you encountered.
So are we gonna go there now, or what?
I believe that visiting the site is the only likely way to conclude the investigation.
Do you guys want oregano masks or?
All of them look at you, and Ian over there talking to Soloth. Oregano masks?
Going into the sewer, it's full of poop.
You're just gonna have to roll with it. They do this sort of thing.
As I'm like wrapping it up.
Aren't we still like an hour away from
Yeah.
where we go down?
That does seem to be an effective way to overcome the smell of a sewer. I shall take an oregano mask.
There you go.
I love how you just have extra oregano masks
That's
never
really
have
fun.
ready.
Shall we go then to 75-0174? Let's go to 75-0174 and show our guests the site of the murder.
We'll
cult.
need to use your rope because the ladder's broken.
I have rope, yes.
Alright.
All right.
Do you have enough rope, Olsef?
For each of us? Did you bring enough for everyone in the class?
No, there's only one. I'm only going to let you use one rope. And you'll have to share.
In
one
my
at a time.
experience, rope is not reusable.
We go to 75-0174.
All right.
And,
Making your way into the sewer, once again, I forgot that was a joke we did. You get down there, and the room is just like you remember it. Basically pristine. Slightly dirtier than when you were down here, I think at this point, a couple weeks ago, with Soloth. And the three of the Arcane Masters, the Gwithna Ikram, are moving around, investigating things. Dole is transformed his cubic, dull, gray floating object into this very large cylinder. And he and Ian are carrying it around, moving it over surfaces of the room.
So another interesting thing is over here in this tunnel, there was a large, embedded in the ground, concreted into the ground, gate?
Set of iron bars, yeah.
Set of iron bars that have since disappeared without a trace.
Sinrian goes over and runs his hand over the surface. And he's just sort of observing it for a minute. Is there any other particular point of event here?
In this specific spot, I think, no, it was just the gate, the bars disappearing. But over here, and I point out where the circle was and where the runes were on the wall. Things like that.
He runs his hand over any surface that you care to point out to him. As Ian and Dole finish up whatever it is that they're doing, you're not entirely certain.
Hey, what are you two doing?
Oh, we do this anytime there's some sort of dimensional incursion, and this here is to highlight wherever remaining dimensional damage is. See, when you open up a portal to another dimension, it actually starts to, for a moment or two, merge the two dimensions together.
Is that bad?
Oh yeah, it's just a real bad thing. That could cause the end of the world if you left a portal open long enough. Now, to do that would take an amount of power that we've never seen anyone have. So it's unlikely that's ever gonna happen. But everywhere it does, leaves a little bit of both dimensions leaking into each other.
Is that anything like, I'm from the wilds, and there were certain locations where there was a thinner barrier between the Feywild?
Yeah, actually it's a lot like that. There's parts of our realm that are a little bit closer in space to other realms. And the Feywild's a particularly bad one for that. It just kind of does whatever it wants. We try to close them up and stop damages, and only for them to pop up other places.
Why would you try closing those?
Oh, well, sometimes they'll pop up over farmers' fields and they'll whoop the crops into weird things that try to eat you.
That sounds pretty fun.
I mean, I think so, but the farmers don't like it.
So you said that the dimensional incursion required power. Could such power be provided by fervent crystals?
Probably not.
Was it the murder stuff? Is that like the ritualistic killing?
Oh, could be. I mean, the sort of energy it takes to rip open portals between different dimensions usually has to come from arcane or sometimes divine sources. But we've never found a divine source that seems to be able to do that, at least in any way that could damage the realm. See, are divine sources of spellcasting that can, really mess up a place. But the nature of the gods just isn't one of destruction. So even the most powerful, the space-tearing things just sort of heal themselves over time. Seems to be for the gods stepping in, trying to clean up messes that their acolytes, called forth.
What sort
Murder
of...
cult does not seem to be consistent with what I consider to be divine.
Oh, no, probably not. This is probably some horrible arcane energy misuse.
Would a dimensional incursion be able to pull out like a whole city or research facility from existence in a large spherical area?
Maybe.
Where just Fervin disappeared completely off the face of...
Oh, yeah, this is a real dinger of a mystery, isn't it?
Yeah. Did the Arcane Masters, or this unpronounceable thing that the tall elf
With
called it,
Naikam.
ever
With
investigate?
Naikwam.
Ever
Arcane Masters is fine.
ever investigate?
No,
the
it's
site-
not.
Ever investigate the site of Fervin's disappearance?
Oh,
How
yeah.
did you hear that and not the
Loads
other
of times
thing?
we've done that.
And did
Dole over here actually went himself one time.
and did you discover anything of interest?
Glasses again? Yes. And then...
Care to
backscanning.
elaborate?
No.
Guess not.
Was it higher than class 7?
Nothing that we found fit into any of our classification systems. The source of that damage is unknown. The cause of it is unknown. The resulting catastrophe from it is unknown.
Is the area permeated with fervent energy?
Yes. However, I would encourage you not to draw conjectures from that.
You haven't met us before, have you?
Most areas that Fervin worked are still quite contaminated with incredibly high levels of fervent energy due to the degradation of crystals.
Great.
So,
Is it?
what we do know is that it is not good to have had a dimensional incursion here of a class 4, possibly 5.
Yeah, really any dimensional incursion is just, well, a bit of an oopsie.
What's the most common dimensional incursion?
Most common
It's
one?
an oopsie.
Oh, it's easy. Water dimension. People are always trying to cheat their way into getting all sorts of unlimited fresh water, salt water, and you can do a little bit, but then people tend to get greedy, and they start taking tens of thousands of gallons of this stuff, and well, on that scale, tends to summon a whole lot of water elementals, and then we get called in to clean it up and cleanse the bodies.
What do you use to clean water?
Magic.
Oh. What kind of magic do you specialize in? Arcane, correct? But what school?
Yeah.
All of them?
Well, yeah.
Oh.
I mean,
They're the masters.
the name
It's in the
Arcane
name.
Masters is a bit earned, I mean, we have our favorites.
What's your take on druidic magic?
Not my personal flavor, but I think it's pretty cool.
It's pretty earthy if you think about it.
Yeah, it is.
Is it a dimensional incursion if a druid were to, say, use magic from the Feywild?
Not really. I mean, all magic is called from some source. And using that power to change and impact and otherwise affect the world that we're in, well, that's just magic.
And why did the Agmar Nodal hate it so much?
You get into one bad war with a whole bunch of people coming through in from the Feywild, and now it's cursed magic. I think they overreacted myself.
Me too. Do you have do the Agmar Nodal have a place in Ilsiren?
Yeah, of course. The Egmont Dale are all over the globe. They always have a place in any major city.
Well, I am wondering if you have completed your investigation here, whether there is anything you can tell us about this incursion, something that we must watch for, or something we could do to keep it from happening again.
Or perhaps identifying who did this?
We have been working to identify similar incursions registered throughout the globe. We have yet to find the perpetrators. If we require further information or assistance, we will reach out to you. So that you can understand we are reluctant to give out information that could subvert our efforts in stopping these rule breakers.
Are you talking like your rules or like cosmic rules?
Bit of both, we shall say.
Well done. Have we completed here?
Dole looks up. I finished scanning for dimensional remnants.
Did you find anything?
Yes. We can proceed with attempting to restore this area. Are you three ready? Looks over at you three.
For what?
Are you two ready? Looking at his compatriots. Yeah, we're good. Commander Soloth, are you prepared? Sure. Very well.
Or what?
I should have a card for this.
This may be uncomfortable. And you just...
It's been uncomfortable
You
till
just
now.
notice at this moment that his bit of floating material has shifted into a very complex looking staff that it like braids around itself, weaving different designs and in ways that appear impossible. His staff is like looking at an MC Escher drawing. It bends in ways that space shouldn't bend. And he places it gently on the ground in front of him. And a pulse goes out from its base. And you see the ground quiver and undulate as it passes through. There is a flash of darkness, and then the room is plunged into... Well, the effect is a little bit like a dark light being waved over a stained surface, highlighting traces of organic matter. And the walls, the floors, where the metal bars were, where the runes were, it's all glowing quite brightly. And indeed, in the center of this hallway, there is now an open space so black that you lose yourself in it. It looks like existence has ceased.
Well, this is most unsettling.
Are the runes glowing?
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna try and copy the other 3 down really quick.
All of you need to make a will save.
Wisdom save.
Yeah, so wisdom save, excuse me. Not will save.
26.
We've been playing too much Pathfinder lately. 26, you said?
20. Not a nat 20.
18.
9s, you're unconscious.
I want to scribble them runes down.
Roll.
Oh, good. You didn't say you were going to do it on my face.
Roll another wisdom save.
17.
You take 6 damage. Both of you make another wisdom save.
17.
24.
Well, Seth, you're unconscious.
Did I get one of the runes?
No.
I'm gonna keep trying.
Okay, go ahead. Make a wisdom save. The only person who's now witnessing this, Soria, the 3 Arcane Masters are now like in a circle performing some sort of ritual cast. And their bodies are like morphing and twisting and shifting. Yeah, as they do this. In fact, the entire world begins to swirl and warp around you. You look down and you notice that the ground beneath you is no longer there, and you are floating in empty space.
I rolled a 25.
You are able to copy the 3rd rune down. You do take 3 more psychic damage. And I need you to make another wisdom save.
Okay, let me write down the damage quick. Oh shit. 11.
Sorry, you are unconscious.
I got a rune. Fuck that.
Yeah. Now you got 3 out of the 5.
The 3 of you wake later. In familiar territory. You're back at the company house. In the common area. And Dole is tending to you.
That was quite a ritual.
That was most uncomfortable. I must ask.
Ow, my head.
Did you bring back the rope that I used to leave us down into the sewer?
And had to be disposed of.
Oh dear.
It received nuns.
Man, I can't wait till we call the rope store later today.
I still have 3 left.
It
we
received
need
an
to replace
incredibly
it.
dangerous level of exposure add to the other dimension. For the
most
record,
saddened to hear that.
this is the single worst incursion from any dimension that we've ever encountered.
This is
Is
even
that
more.
bad?
Is that what that yawning nothingness was?
Yes. The entire room that we entered was not quite an illusion, but not quite reality. The space of the other dimension had been transmuted to appear as the room that we saw. The door was never closed, simply made to look like something else. It has now been shut.
Did anything come through?
We have not made that determination yet.
What class would you say it was?
More than I want to contemplate.
More than a 7?
What we encountered in that was a class 10 phenomenon.
Is that bad?
Is that bad?
Well, 7 hospitalized him for 3 months.
I will have to undergo extensive therapy to recover from the horrors that I witnessed in there.
Was there something?
I appreciate the opportunity to have experienced this and engage in business with you. If you'll excuse me, I must go make notes.
What did you see? In that, all I saw was nothingness.
I saw everything. And he leaves.
Well, what about the other two of you? Did you experience anything like?
They're not here.
Oh, they're not there.
Nope. Dole alone was attending to you.
Oh.
The steward also nearby. Can I provide any of you with some chilled water? Something to eat, perhaps?
I think I would like something a little more substantial than chilled water.
Some tepid mead.
Do you have perhaps a single malt?
I'm assuming that you mean a whiskey.
Yes.
I shall bring you some.
Is Commander Soloth around?
He and the other two from the Arcane Masters that had to temporarily depart to Ilsiren.
To where?
Ilsiren.
Oh. They went back to Ilsiren.
Yes.
Well, this has been most disconcerting. I am sorry that Dal has harmed himself in this experience.
He doesn't seem to be very put out by it, which is unsettling.
Yeah, but he's a pretty cool guy if you get to know him.
Where is he working?
He is in a room we have provided for him. He has requested to not be disturbed.
I turn into a spider.
That's in front of the steward.
Right in front of Steward.
Yeah.
Please don't. I don't need to.
I don't think you're gonna stop her.
Okay, so I'm guessing you head down towards Dole's room.
Uh-huh.
All right.
I want to see his notes.
When you get to the door, you notice that there is quite clearly a force field of some sort up.
I'll poke it with my little leg.
When you poke it, it's just like this adorable little spider.
I'm a little jumping spider. What the big enough.
You poke at it, and it's not painful, but it does actively repulse you. Just
I
it
feel
like
repulsed.
forces you back.
It is repulsive.
Oh, that's repulsive.
Do you? So
I
you're
just go back and see has it locked out.
Okay then. I enjoy my single malt and some charcuterie board from the buffet.
I climb up on Nine's head and then turn back into a normal.
So you
Can I withstand that?
make a strength saving throw, since you weren't expecting a whole Soria to appear on your head.
That's a 9.
You both tumble over and take 2 falling damage.
Did I get healed from?
Yes, your health is restored,
Oh, okay.
but you're now, both of you are bruised.
Nines, what are you doing here?
Ow! What are you doing here?
This is
I was
my
walking
spot.
here.
The steward returns with a glass of whiskey for you. Is there anything else that I may provide to any of you?
Can you get this woman off of me?
Can we get?
He helps Soria up off the ground.
Do you provide counseling services here? I've gazed into the vacant nothingness between worlds.
I'm not sure that there's any counseling that can help with that, but I will look around and investigate. You have been
You have any
through...
pretzels?
Yes, I prepared some fresh for you all when you returned.
That's nice, thank you.
I enjoy a pretzel with my malt, single malt.
All right.
It pairs nicely.
May I recommend a good night's rest? I have prepared I should call them illuminations for your rooms. Based on the experience that Dole described, I think it may help.
Okay. Well, I turn in.
Your rooms are delicately lit by little floating lights on the ceiling. And they provide a warm blanket of light so that nothing in the room is too dim to make out, but nor is it too bright to sleep.
I stand on my book on the table that's in my room, and I attempt to pounce on one of them.
They move out of the way as you attempt to pounce.
Uh-oh.
Now it's a challenge.
I would like to just sit there and meditate and try to remember if I saw anything in that ritual while it was happening.
Okay.
Anything other than just the emptiness.
All right. Why don't you make a wisdom check?
So I can guidance myself.
You can.
Does she have to roll with disadvantage as a loud ruckus in the other room happens? As
That
a cat
helps me
is just
situate my mind.
Attacking little floating orbs.
I won't say if Soria has to roll with disadvantage on that because maybe she likes it.
Just an 11 total.
As you try to recall what you saw in the room, every time you reach out for a memory, it seems to move away from your thoughts. It seems to pull back from being remembered. It's almost like when you have something on the tip of your tongue and you just can't quite recall the name of that actor or the lyric of a song. That restaurant you went to one time. You try and you try, but you can't quite pull it back. And before long, you find yourself feeling quite exhausted and wanting to drift off to sleep.
Feeling a little bit on edge, I attempt to relax by practicing my Forbidden Tech repair.
Okay. Go ahead and
Just lose
roll
yourself
percentile
in the
dice.
Technical work.
And then write down the numbers after you tell them to me.
63.
All right.
Not bad. Better than half.
Okay. As you all settle in for the night, Nines, you eventually tire of chasing the lights.
Are you sure?
Not from being bored, simply from having exerted yourself enough where you're now sleepy. And you all curl up on your beds, close your eyes, and have a fairly peaceful night's sleep. And that's where we'll end tonight's session.
Do I get to roll a pretzel check now or later?
You can roll a pretzel check now.
And you can each mark off 1,000.
I got
thank you.
an 18 on my pretzel check.
I assume they paid us. But
Oh yeah, they did. They definitely paid you. Well, you had...
can we get that in
You
platinum?
had a fairly pretzel day. Sure. If you want it in platinum, I can let you...
Oh. So
Be
that's
paid
like
in platinum.
100 platinum each.
Yes, if that's what you'd like.
Yes.
It's easier to carry.
I'm not making a pretzel check because these
I'll make a pretzel check to see if it helps me with my post-traumatic stress. I rolled a 5.
It doesn't harm your post-traumatic stress any further. It doesn't particularly help, but you don't have a bad night's sleep. You don't have a particularly good night's sleep either. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. So we hope that you had a relaxing holiday when we were off last week. We're glad to be back and to see you all again. Remember, if you feel like tuning in, we are doing painting streams on Tuesdays and Fridays, 3 p.m. Eastern. They're very relaxing. They're a very nice way to spend an hour or two in the afternoon just listening to painting and watching them put these pieces together. They're beautiful. And we will be posting some more information about our upcoming Patreon launch, as well as our new series on playing Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, especially for new players, which we seem to be attracting in this stream. We have a fair number of people who want to learn watching, so we'll be putting that out. Thank you very much, everyone. We really appreciate it, and love you all. Have a good week.
Bye.
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 Bye.